So on Thursdays, what we do is we look at our backlog. So now this would be for you if you're doing Excel sheets or however you're managing your projects. This is like all the stuff that you have to do, and you can only pull in what you can accomplish in 1 week. So for us, we might have like 60 or 70 hour sprints, and we just know, let's say with 70 people, we have about a 70-hour sprint, and it doesn't mean that they're working only 10 hours each. It just means that the way that we've created our tickets and our estimates, and that's super important, is how to create tickets and estimates, and I'll show you how to do that, is that's kind of like the gauge that we have, and that number is going to change depending on who's on the team or what kind of work they're doing, and so that you need to figure out what that benchmark is for you. So on Thursdays, we look at what we need to do, and what we've done is we've prioritized all of our work. So when we create a new ticket, we say, okay, it's a priority 2. We think we're going to be able to start on it next week, or 3 the week after, 4 the week after that, and 5 like a month out. So it's not super important as the ones in 2, 3, 4. So we look at all of the 2. So now we can sort by critical. We know these things for sure need to get done. And then we also look at, we have different categories of the types of tickets. So a bug means that there's like an error in something. So even if you're not a software company, it might be something that's going wrong and that needs to be addressed. So this is like red, it's super important. A feature means somebody's requested something. So it means, if, for example, if somebody on the team is saying, hey, we really need to fix this process or this part of our work, we should make everything that gets requested as any kind of to-do we add into our ticketing system so that we can address it at some time. So here we go. Our features are, hey, Bernie, can you write this software to do this for us, to do that? And it could be many things. It could be, again, like I said, service based as well. Operation means it's something that we need to do internally, and it's not really, the other one is our tasks. So tasks would mean things that we're doing specifically for our customers. So that's how we separate it out. And then I had it set to critical, and then we look, so for example, we'll look at operations. Critical, obviously we only have criticals in priority 2, because if we've got criticals in 3, 4, 5, that means we're not doing them for several weeks, and that doesn't make sense. And then we've got major, so these are all our major things. That's what we want to look at next. And we also want to look at, do some things from next week, can they be moved to priority 3? So for example, this week has been pretty chaotic out in the world, and so there's a lot of things that we're going to bump from priority 2 to priority 3 so that we can move more important things like helping our clients write letters, or changing the way that our ads are working, reducing some budgets because things are really different out in our environment. So that's how we can be flexible. And in our system, we go from, we can change the priority right here. So it's very flexible that way. What we'll do next is we'll look through every single thing on this list and then look over here. Do we need to pull anything in? Because some things we've moved into the future, but now we need to pull them in. So we go through this whole process looking through everything, and that's the management team getting ready for the meeting or getting ready for the next week. The other thing that we do is we look at our projects. So we have every client has their own project, or every kind of project that we do for a client. So a client might have 3 or 4 projects running, so that we can separate everything out and keep everything organized. So what we'll do is we'll go through projects and see what's important. Maybe there's things here that need to be pulled in. So these are P2s, P3s, and maybe there's things that we need to pull into P1. Things have changed for the customer. So it's kind of a dynamic overview of what's going on. So for you, these projects might be related to the work that you're doing. They might be different clients that you work with. They might be different projects that you're working on. And it's just about getting them super organized and making sure that everyone on the team is doing what they need to do. And then the whole point of this is that you can see in one view, again, it doesn't matter if you're working with Excel or you're working with some other program, that you can see that stuff is moving forward down the pipeline. You can see, if I just take all my settings off, what's happening. So submitted in this view is everything that other people have created or the team has created and said, hey, we need to work on this, or the client asked us to do this. And our Thursday team is going to review those. We're going to look at every single one on Thursday before we start the meeting and just identify, okay, is everything filled out? Do we have everything we need to know? How is this going to work? And do we think this is something that we want to work on? Where do we prioritize this, and how does it work? And again, with the virtual team, you don't have to be checking up on everybody. When you have a system like this in place, you can see what they're doing at any time. So that is our Thursday meetings. That's kind of like the whole process to it. So that happens for about half an hour, sometimes an hour, depending on how busy things are on the planning side. And so let's say that goes from 9 to 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, we meet with our whole team on Thursday, and we actually don't plan that day. So Thursday's shout out day, we do our shout outs, and on Thursdays we actually might look at what does our whole sprint look like? Are we going to accomplish it because Friday's the deadline, or do we need to move things into P2, or just talk about, hey, this isn't going to get done, so we need to break it up into smaller pieces, or just learn from it in general. On Thursdays, we have a longer meeting with our overall team, and we often take time to review projects. So it's kind of like a post-mortem. When we're done a project that week or the week before, somebody on the team would have met with each other and put together a presentation, and I can again show you guys how we do that. And that's been amazing because we're able to review what went well, what didn't go well, what we can improve, and then get feedback from the team. Thursdays might also be a demo day because again, we're virtual, so these are our opportunities to connect with each other. The meetings are meant for everyone to show up so that you can ask questions of each other. So I wouldn't recommend having like a ton of people in there, and maybe doing like smaller pods of teams so that you can touch base with people, so that everybody can kind of learn from each other and collaborate with each other. And then in the meantime, what we do is we use Slack, and that's how we talk to each other about different projects. So we actually have a different channel for every customer in Slack, so that when we're working on that customer's file, we can chat in there and it's really clear about who we're talking about. And we also have a company channel, so that when we're talking about management stuff, there's a channel for that, and you can just really break up your communication so you don't have all these emails going back and forth and people trying to scroll through and figure out what happened. And the other thing with Slack is that you can, if somebody asks a question, there could be several people who answer it. It's not just that one person in the email, or exactly who the question's going to. You can help answer each other's questions. So that's a really important part of how it all works.